The film begins in a creepy, old-fashioned curiosity shop, where a panicked man named Petey Shelburne bursts in clutching a mechanical monkey that beats a drum. His clothes are stained with blood, but when the shopkeeper questions him, Petey insists it isn't his. He says he's there to return the monkey, though the shopkeeper points to a notice that says all children's items are final sale. Petey stresses that it's not just a toy. Something horrifying happens whenever it plays its drum. Suddenly, the monkey springs to life and starts drumming, startling them both. It quickly stops, and there's a tense silence. But then, a mouse nearby chews through an electrical cable. A trap gun fires, striking the shopkeeper. The harpoon-like device pulls back violently, dragging the shopkeeper's entrails with it. In shock and fear, Petey grabs a flamethrower and desperately attempts to destroy the cursed monkey. The next scene introduces twin brothers, Hal and Bill, who have a strained relationship. Hal reveals through narration that Bill, older by 3 minutes, constantly uses that fact to mock and dominate him. The brothers live with their mother, Lois, after their father disappeared years ago under mysterious circumstances. One day, while rummaging through their father's old belongings, they discover Petey's uniform, suggesting he might be their father. They also come across a strange box containing the same sinister monkey. Hal finds a note attached, telling them to turn a key and see what unfolds. Bill, curious and impulsive, quickly winds the key. The monkey grins eerily and lifts its drumsticks, but doesn't make a sound. The following day, their mom heads out on a date, leaving them in the care of a nanny who takes them to a restaurant. On the way there, Hal notices the monkey has somehow appeared in the car's backseat. They arrive at a hibachi grill where the chef begins entertaining them with his cooking. Outside, the monkey is moved to the front seat and abruptly starts drumming, then falls silent again. Back inside, the chef is mid-performance when he accidentally slashes Annie, the nanny, decapitating her in a gruesome accident that leaves everyone stunned. The story cuts to her funeral, with adult Hal narrating how that traumatic event only drove a deeper wedge between him and his brother. Later, their mother tries to comfort them, explaining that life is unpredictable and death is inevitable. Trying to brighten the mood, the three of them dance together back at home. Hal says that despite everything, that was the happiest day he can remember. A few days later, while at school, Hal discovers the monkey has somehow ended up in his backpack. His classmates see it and begin accusing him of being inappropriate with the toy. Later, during gym class, Bill and a group of bullies start pelting Hal with bananas and making fun of him. Angry and humiliated, Hal returns home, only to find the monkey waiting in his bed. He blames the doll for all his troubles and, full of rage, shouts that he wishes Bill were dead. In a moment of anger, he turns the monkey's key. At the same time, Bill walks into the house. The monkey starts to beat its drum. Bill finds their mother in the kitchen, but suddenly blood pours from her face, and she collapses, lifeless. In voiceover, adult Hal explains that the cause of death was diagnosed as a rare boomerang aneurysm, a condition so unusual it only affects 1 in 44 million people. Hal is fully aware of what's really going on. The sinister monkey is behind the deaths, acting on its own malicious will. It doesn't follow commands or spare anyone. After Lois's funeral, the boys are taken in by their Aunt Ida and Uncle Chip, who try their best to uplift their spirits. That night, troubled by everything that's happened, Hal makes the decision to destroy the doll for good. He begins hacking it apart and is horrified when it begins to bleed. Despite this, he doesn't stop. He tears into it until it's in pieces, then packs the remains into a trash bag and ensures it's picked up with the garbage the next morning. Later, Aunt Ida and Uncle Chip take the boys to their new home in a distant town. But that night, Bill spots something outside his window and goes to check it out, only to discover the same cursed monkey has somehow returned. He accuses Hal of bringing it along, but Hal insists he destroyed it. He warns Bill that the doll is cursed and is behind their nanny's and mother's deaths. This makes Bill wonder if perhaps the monkey's curse is triggered by the person who winds it up, and maybe their mother had turned the key herself. Despite Hal's urgent warning, Bill decides to test the theory and winds the toy. The consequence is immediate. Their uncle, who was camping in the woods, dies in a freak accident, trampled by 67 horses while still inside his sleeping bag. At that point, the brothers finally come to terms with the truth. The monkey is indeed responsible, but they also realize destroying it isn't enough. Instead, they bind it securely, seal it in its box, and toss it down a long-forgotten well, hoping to be done with it forever. The story then jumps 25 years into the future. Aunt Ida, now elderly, is resting in bed when strange sounds wake her. Armed with a gun, she investigates the noise. Though she finds nothing downstairs, disaster strikes on her way back up. The stairs give out beneath her. Hooks embedded in the steps pierce her face painfully, and she struggles to remove them. As she tends to her injuries, she smells gas and heads to the kitchen to investigate. Then chaos. As she runs outside, she's gruesomely impaled by the sharp edge of a real estate sign. Elsewhere, we meet Hal as an adult, working at a grocery store. He asks his manager if he can leave work early, explaining that this is the only time all year he gets to see his son. The boss makes a comment about how his ex must be difficult, but Hal clarifies that the arrangement was his own choice. Later, Hal picks up his son, Petey, from his ex-wife and her new partner, Ted. Tensions rise when they accuse Hal of being absent from Petey's life. Ted announces he's planning to adopt the boy, meaning Hal would lose all access. Hal becomes visibly upset and refuses to agree, leading to a confrontation. Meanwhile, a boy named Ricky visits a home garage sale and stumbles upon the familiar, ominous monkey doll. As soon as he touches it, he's flooded with memories of his father. He later shows it to his mom, saying it reminds him of the dad he's been searching for, a man who mysteriously disappeared years ago. We learn that Ricky was hired by a reclusive figure who never leaves his house to locate the monkey. Elsewhere, Hal and Petey are staying at a motel. It's clear they don't know each other very well. Petey is working on a family tree project and asks Hal about his relatives. Hal lies, saying he's an only child, and becomes uneasy when the topic shifts to his late mother. Around midnight, Hal gets a surprise phone call. It's Bill, whom he hasn't spoken to in nearly 5 years and hasn't seen in a decade. Bill informs him that Aunt Ida has died and insists he'll go to her house to make sure the monkey isn't back. Hal is annoyed, wanting to spend time with his son instead. But as he looks outside, he sees a woman about to jump into a swimming pool, directly beneath a loose rooftop compressor that's about to fall, potentially electrifying the water. Sensing something's wrong, Hal grabs Petey and insists they leave immediately. They jump into the car, and Hal tells him that his great-aunt has passed away and that they need to take care of things at her home. The next day, they arrive at the house, where a real estate agent named Barbara greets them. She explains that Hal's brother told her they would be coming. This revelation shocks Petey, who realizes his father lied about having a sibling. Barbara shows them around the house, mentioning that strange things have been happening in the area ever since Aunt Ida died, a series of bizarre, fatal accidents. We see disturbing glimpses of these gruesome events. Later, Barbara opens a jammed closet, and Hal senses that something is terribly wrong. His instinct proves correct. Tragedy strikes once more. Soon, police arrive on the scene, and a female officer questions Hal about what occurred. She instructs him not to leave town until the investigation is complete. Meanwhile, we see paramedics wheeling out Barbara's remains, and oddly, a group of cheerleaders and students are seen celebrating nearby, in stark contrast to the tragedy. While Hal continues scouring the house in search of the cursed monkey, he comes up empty-handed. Frustrated, he starts flipping through the town's phone listings and stumbles across a bizarre entry labeled Mrs. Monkey. Curious, he dials the number and is met with a voicemail message. It's Bill's voice. On the recording, Bill explains that if someone is calling in response to his ad, they're too late. He's already found his cherished toy monkey and doesn't require help anymore. This revelation finally hits Hal. His brother orchestrated everything and lured him there intentionally. The story flashes back 25 years to Bill's point of view. After their mother's tragic death, he pieced together that Hal had turned the key, triggering the fatal event. Even after they threw the monkey into the well, Bill secretly returned to retrieve it, only to find the toy gone and the key lying alone at the bottom. Still, he was certain the cursed item would find its way back, and he waited patiently. Years later, Bill, now grown, cracked open a fortune cookie that read, "Turn the key and see what happens." From that moment on, he began seeing the monkey everywhere, tormenting him and warping his mind. Desperate, he eventually placed an ad in the newspaper, hoping to track down the drumming doll once more. In the present, Bill turns the key again, expecting it to claim Hal's life. But instead, the monkey targets Hal's boss, who dies choking violently on a cigar. The curse clearly has a mind of its own. Around this time, Ricky arrives outside Bill's home. Nervously, he tells Bill that he saw someone who looked just like him, his brother, and says he wants to return the $15 he was paid in exchange for the monkey doll. Ricky says the toy reminds him of his missing father and that he desperately wants it back. But Bill, irritated, dismisses the boy and orders him to leave. Angry, Ricky storms home, puts on his late father's police uniform, grabs a firearm, and decides to take matters into his own hands. Meanwhile, Hal and Petey check into a motel, where Hal, burning with rage, calls Bill directly. Hal accuses his brother of having the monkey already, and Bill confirms it. He demands Hal bring Petey over so the boy can turn the key. Bill believes the one who winds it is spared, so by letting Petey do it, he thinks the child will be protected. If Hal refuses, Bill threatens to keep activating the doll until Hal dies, regardless of how many others are caught in the crossfire. Feeling trapped, Hal considers leaving Petey with his mother, but the attempt spirals into a heated argument. Petey lashes out, accusing his dad of never truly caring, while Hal tries to explain he's been keeping his distance to protect his son from the darkness in his life. Suddenly, a loud knock rattles the door. It's Ricky, dressed in the police uniform, and he immediately brandishes the gun, forcing Hal and Petey to come with him. He takes them to Bill's house, where he orders Petey to enter alone and retrieve the monkey. He threatens violence if they don't follow his command. Hal pleads with Petey not to turn the key, no matter what happens. The boy sneaks in through a side entrance and quickly discovers a series of traps set throughout the house. Fortunately, he's clever and avoids them all. Outside, Hal tries to reason with Ricky, who finally confesses that he isn't really a police officer. As they talk, both of them suddenly notice an enormous wasp nest looming nearby, sending chills through them. Back inside, Petey comes face to face with his Uncle Bill, who's speaking to the monkey as if it were alive. Bill introduces it as his favorite childhood toy and tells Petey it no longer works. He begs the boy to repair it by turning the key. Petey hesitates, remembering his father's warning. But the pressure from Bill is overwhelming. Despite his better judgment, he gives in and twists the key. The moment Petey turns the key, the sinister monkey springs to life and starts pounding its drum in a terrifying rhythm. Simultaneously, the large wasp nest outside begins to lower ominously. In a panic, Ricky accidentally discharges his weapon, directly at the nest. What happens next is horrifying. The enraged swarm invades his mouth, resulting in a gruesome and immediate death. Hearing the chaos, Hal desperately calls out for his son. Inside, Bill hears Hal's voice and realizes with dread that his plan has backfired once again. Enraged, Bill grabs the monkey and tries to force it to play in hopes of killing Hal. But instead, the doll turns on him, unleashing a supernatural force that sends him flying across the room. At that moment, Hal makes it inside through the back entrance and reunites with Petey. As they reconnect, the monkey begins drumming again, this time with an unhinged intensity. When it finally stops, Bill peers outside in horror. The cursed power has spread throughout the town, triggering widespread disasters and killing dozens of people in increasingly bizarre and tragic ways. Suddenly, the ceiling above collapses and mangled corpses rain down through the shattered roof. Hal enters just in time to witness the carnage, overcome with fury over what his brother has unleashed. Confronted, Bill breaks down, admitting he wanted Hal to suffer as he had, blaming him for their mother's untimely death. He even accuses Hal of secretly wanting him dead all those years ago. Overwhelmed by emotion, Hal insists he never intended for any of it to happen, that she was his mother too. He expresses deep remorse and explains they should have leaned on each other during their pain, not turned into enemies. He tells Bill it's not too late to make things right. Moved by Hal's sincerity, Bill offers a tearful apology. In that moment, the years of bitterness melt away, and the two brothers finally make peace. Hal then invites Bill to join him and Petey on a road trip, and for the first time in years, Bill agrees with a genuine smile. But just as a fragile sense of hope settles in, the monkey's arm jerks forward one last time, hitting the drum again. A hidden trap is triggered, launching a bowling ball straight at Bill's head, killing him instantly and shattering the moment of reconciliation. The following morning, Hal and Petey pack up and leave town. As they drive past the ruined streets, they see the devastation the cursed toy left behind: burnt buildings, scattered wreckage, and a community shattered overnight. Determined to end the nightmare, Hal vows to keep the monkey with him and never allow anyone to wind it again. As they drive, they pass a strange sight: an elderly man with burning ashes drifting off his back, calmly riding a horse. Just before the screen fades to black, a bus full of cheerleaders drives by, setting the stage for yet another bizarre and tragic demise. Thanks for sticking around until the end. Your support means everything. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Catch you in the next recap.